Just got back from the Boundary Waters last night. Great trip. We spent 7 days, 6 nights. We went first night in Upper Pontus Lake, then we went into Shell Lake. First night had a thunderstorm. It was kind of rainy and windy. Next morning, so we stayed at another campsite on Shell, on the very south end of Shell that night. So 2 nights on Shell, 1 night on Heritage, 1 on Lynx, and then back out to Pontus and out Sunday morning to the entry point 14. I shot some video. We'll see if we can get that up. Right now I want to go over what worked and what didn't. These packs are pretty, just pulled them in out of the car, so let's see what's in them. This Granite Gear pack worked really well. Portaging went really fine. Took the advice of everybody on the forum, BWCA.com, and really kept it, make sure we just had 2 packs to pull out, so everything else was attached to the boat or in these 2 packs. So didn't have a lot of loose things to keep up with. On the final day we just kind of threw it in, so let's see what we got. While I'm doing this, I will probably change up packs a little bit next year to the new portage pack, more for camp than portaging, just because just have a big bag, throw everything in, looked like it worked really well. One of the most useful things was this pad, done all kinds of things with it. Small insurance, tarp, of course. The big winner on this trip was the barrel. Our Barrel BB500. We debated a long time before we went on what to do about food. We did hang a bag overnight that had just like toiletries, a little, the first couple nights, some extra snacks and stuff that didn't fit in these. And even hanging that small bag was not much fun, just finding branches that were right and doing all the different stuff. First couple nights we had a little heavier bag, so we done a couple different methods, PCT method, 2-rope method, all those things. I would hate been trying to hang these overnight. And a lot of people we talk to on the trail end up not hanging, which I don't know if that's a great thing or not. We didn't see the bears, but the guys on the portage trail saw 4 bears cross in front of them, and we know they were telling the truth because we talked to them at different points of the trail as they were portaging, and they told us the same thing. So there were 4 bears, I believe, on the 220 rod portage between Shell and Upper Pontus. So bears are in the area, but these were so much simpler, take them far enough away from camp, put them in there, put the reflective tape in case you need to find them if a bear knocks them around and hear it at night. So I may even, there's another one, it's about half that or 2/3 the size, I may add next year, but a big thumbs up on the bear canister. The hammock setup, I'm not going to pull out all the way right now, but it worked just fine. This was everything I needed to sleep in. Hammock, 2 quilts, a sock, all that good stuff. It was actually warm the whole trip, so I didn't even use my top quilt, but I think 2 nights. So packed a little heavy for this trip, but if it had been the temperature we expected, it would have been a lot closer. The front pocket, paper mats, tripod, an extra big trash bag for emergency use, whatever, pack liner, and my eyeglasses, O'Day, extra weight right there. Clothes, pair of dry ducks, rain pants, that's the only extra pants I took. I figured I could use them in an emergency either way, they're like nothing weight-wise. Clothes, I'm not going to go into, it's a personal thing, and if it had been 10 to 15 degrees cooler like we originally expected, most of those clothes, I ran it pretty close. I had a little too many pieces for the top, but as far as jackets, but hey, who would have known that we had record-breaking temperatures. Socks, so no big deal there. This side, towel, a tent stakes. Went with canister this time. Not sure I'll take the canister stove next time because we boiled water on the fire. We've got some nice fire grates. It's easy to boil on. Doesn't take a lot to set up with it. Firewood, for the most part, readily available. Some of the more used campsites, you got the go hunting a little further, but we didn't have to paddle to anywhere else to get firewood. So firewood, even within reason, to boil water, a short fire is always look like available. I think I'll take my Esbit set up and just plan the fire between the two of them next year and not bother with the canister, save a little weight. REI Flex-Lite chair. While it was comfortable sitting after dinner fire, I don't particularly like sitting in this chair. I found out while I'm cooking and things like that. This may not make it. I got a 13-ounce stool that's heavy duty. It holds 250 pounds. I'll probably save a pound and a half next year by not taking this. Pretty much, just some extra stuff sack in there. So that pack was mainly food when I started. In fact, I had my clothes in this bag to start with. As the food went down into the bare canister, everything went there, including pots and stoves. This Army Owls pack worked really well. Had this hatchet fixed up to where it wouldn't fall out on me on portages. Little gear snake. A cheap hatchet survived another week of banging and beating out at everything. It's a Gerber hatchet. It actually works pretty good for split wood. I don't care about abusing it. I think it's part of the problem. I don't mind taking it. This was a little extra stocking top hat and a pair of light gloves. Never used them. I would take them again unless the temperatures was the only reason we didn't use those. First aid kit. Fortunately, one night of some headache, not really like a headache, it was other than muscle medicine, but took a few of that. That's about all we used it for. A pair of neoprene gloves I threw in at the last second. Didn't need those. Rain hat. All our rain come big thunderstorm. Second night, I believe. But it happened tonight. Had to reset my tarp a little bit, but other than that, that's all the bad weather we hit. For some reason, we saw lightning and heard thunder almost every night, but it never made it to us except for that one night. So rain hat didn't have to use, probably take again. Water filter system, you'll see this was the Cat Down Be Free. It's more of a personal use system. I took a 3-liter and 2-liter bag. If I had to do it again, I think I'd try to find something with 4 to 6 liters of water and just cut down the number of trips refilling, those sort of things. Probably rig up my Sawyer Squeeze into its gravity feed with a plasma style bag, the dipping type bag. So while this worked, there was only 2 of us. If we get into the group of 4 or 5 next time, probably take a group camp filter along with those for backup, maybe one of those. So that was all the front pockets. So far, the REI chair is the only thing that took that may or may not make next trip. One of my extra shirts, dirty clothes, camp shoes worked out great. So this or something very similar will go with this next year. There's something a little wet in here, something smells like. Got this Granny Cure Valve bag and it done really well. So I ended up putting it in here because it was always a little bit of a hassle to grab back out, and it was heavy enough with my binoculars and stuff. So I think next year I'm trying to be to one main bag and one little bag that's right in front of me, kind of like a small backpack type bag that can attach to the other pack if necessary, instead of having something small like this. While these are really nice, I had a real lightweight wind jacket. I did use my binoculars a little bit. I had a younger guy with me, had really good eyes, so I didn't have to pull these out as much, but it was still worth it. I'll probably take those again next year. Sunglasses and wipes and sunscreen. Everything in here was good. Not sure if I'll take the Valve bag. I think I want something that has my raincoat and all this stuff in it. And maybe that'd be my only bag. And once lessons learned this year. Took this insulated coffee cup, worked really well. I think I want something wider on the bottom. It was tippy. One of the things that did work really well and highly recommend is the Lucy lanterns. these things, we never lost charge on this. One day we didn't even charge it. And even though we had a fire, this made us a nice camp light. And it also gave us the option of last night. We decided to just sit in our chairs, relax, drink the rest of the whiskey, and not mess with the fire. And then when it got dark, we used these around camp for a little while, and didn't even have. This pouch kept everything organized, worked like it did. It's a little heavy. A lot of my weight was right here. I'm gonna have to go back to it. It had some extra batteries for the camera. I had a GPS in here, but I think that some of this weight would be in here lighter with a bigger group. Basically, there was 2 of us, so we had to carry all the emergency type, extra tape to fix the boat and all those kind of things in here. As a group gets bigger, this would get a little lighter, but overall, it stayed very well organized in that bag, and I wasn't looking for a lot of loose stuff. Pack liner, let's see. My raincoat, only used it for about 30 minutes the morning we got up from the thunderstorm. This was I should have probably utilized this more and had a couple less of the, I had a fleece shirt, a wool shirt, all those things. I could have probably done away with one of those and used my jacket a little more for a wind block. So there's probably a pound or 2 of savings right there in top layers that we'll work on next year. It's all temperature relevant to the next year too. Wool shirt, my hiking buddies would be like, yeah, it's way too heavy to carry hiking. But you know what, in the spirit of the Great North, the wool shirt done really good. I enjoyed having that, so it's going to go back. Just dirty shirts. So I had 2 long sleeve t-shirt style shirts, is all it took. This was like one of the extra tops I wore in, but probably didn't need that. So between all of that, I only took 1 pair of pants plus the cheap rain pants, but they took way too many things for the top. Sounds like it. We had these really big dust collector bags that are about 6 foot by 4 foot, and it worked really good when we thought it was going to rain or rain. We'd put all our gear in it, and you could stuff it under the hammock and not have to worry about getting wet or having extra protection. So we used that a couple nights. We're pretty heavy. It may have been just as well to take an extra tarp way down to the ground and use it. These go with these, like we talked about in the first video. I'll talk about those again in a minute. I think that's pretty much it. Let's see, my neck knife. Yeah, I took 1 too many knives. I'll admit to that. These got heavily used. So these gloves, definitely used. There are a lot of pine trees up there. Used them for cutting firewood. There's a lot of sap. As you can tell, they got lots of use, so they were extra, the extra weight was worth it. Highly recommend a pair of work gloves for those type of trips for camp. I think that's pretty much it. Used a Nalgene 16-ounce water bottle that had the ounce graduations, which was great for dehydrated meals. Pretty sure next year that my full 7+ days of food will go in that, and I'm probably going to get another small one, like I said earlier, for the pots and pans and utensils and toiletries and all that, so I don't even have to fill this pan in a small bag. Big A+ on that. So this pack done really well. It may possibly even make next year's trip just with a lot lighter stuff in it, but we'll see. My goal next year is to get everything kind of fine-tuned, get down to one reasonably like 40-pound-ish pack with food and 1 small bag up front or wherever I'm paddling to have my raincoat and all the other little things you might need during the day, camera, things like that. So that will be the go for that. The big hit of the trip were these Chota Hippies. They worked extremely well. I didn't have to worry about getting in and out, how deep was the water. It's actually kind of a safety thing, because if if you got the regular boot, knee-high boots or something, and you're kind of worrying about, stepping on a rock so you don't step in too deep or something along that line, you could slip, things like that. I found not having to worry about that I was having a little easier time than maybe my hiking buddy that had knee-high things. He had to be a little more careful. I combined them with the Bates Recondo jungle boots. You can use whatever boots makes you happy with these, but the jungle boots done really well. They drained really well, dried really fast. These particular ones are almost like a heavy-duty tennis shoe with a really thick sole on them. You can see they collapse down. The days that the sun was out, they'd be dry in 2 or 3 hours. So the 100% on the Chota Hippies, I can tell you these worked for one trip. I don't know how many trips I'll load up, but I'm only going to use them with this, so they'll probably last a while. I went up one size and went to the widest shoe they had, it up one size for these, and that's what made a good combination for the trip. I've taken this as inserts and neoprene socks in case the Chotas didn't work, didn't have to use those, so that'll be about half a pound next year I won't have to take. Hopefully these get to make it back to the Boundary Waters in 2018. Good trip. The gear, we hit it really close. The portages were really easy. We really concentrated in our packing to not have any loose stuff in the boat. We had a 30-inch bidustried saw that we used some gear ties to put on the fore. They just stayed there, and the fishing pole stayed in the boat, and the extra paddle stayed in the boat tied in. And we just put so we took it out, basically 2 packs out each, and a camera case, and it just works extremely well. Thanks for all the good tips on that. I'll probably use some sort of portage pack next year just for the convenience of thing factor. They go in and out of the boat really well, and the backpacking packs, a lot of times you almost have to pack them all at once because everything has its place. The portage packs are like just big old bags, so something gets in there a little different. It makes it a little quicker camp, and it fits in the canoe good. What we used this trip was just fine, but that's the only thing I'd change next year. Go ahead and get a good portage pack. Fine tune the food, get the food barrel. Clothing, that's determined by the season at that time. Hope it helps. This is just a rookie's way of what happened and what worked, what didn't. This will help me remember next year what I don't want to try again.